A $5 miracle. The autumn rain had been falling since morning, turning the sidewalks into mirrors that reflected the gray October sky. Inside Sweet Haven Bakery, the warmth from the ovens fought against the chill that crept through the door each time it opened. Thomas Whitmore stood at the counter, his dark suit perfectly pressed despite the weather. At 52, he had built an empire in commercial real estate, but success had come at a price. His reflection in the bakery window showed a man who looked older than his years, carrying the weight of too many empty evenings in a silent penthouse. He had stopped in out of habit more than hunger. The bakery was 3 blocks from his office, and he had been coming here for years, always alone, always ordering the same black coffee. The bell above the door chimed softly. A small figure entered, and Thomas glanced up from his phone. A little girl, no more than 6 years old, stood just inside the doorway. Her blonde hair was pulled into 2 ponytails that had started to come loose, and her pink dress was damp from the rain. She clutched something tightly in her small hand. The girl walked slowly past the display cases, her blue eyes wide as she studied each cake with the intensity of someone making a life-changing decision. Thomas watched as she stopped in front of a simple vanilla cake with white frosting, decorated with delicate pink roses. Martha, the owner, came from the back, wiping flour from her hands. She had owned this bakery for 30 years and knew every regular by name. "Hello, sweetheart," Martha said gently, bending down to the child's level. "Are you here by yourself?" The girl nodded, her voice barely above a whisper. "It's my mama's birthday tomorrow. She's turning 33. Martha's expression softened. "That's wonderful. Does your mama know you're here?" "She's working," the girl said, pointing vaguely down the street. "At the laundromat. I told her I was going to the library next door, but I came here first." She opened her small fist, revealing a crumpled $5 bill, some quarters, and a few pennies. "I've been saving my allowance. Is it enough for that cake?" Thomas found himself unable to look away. Something about the scene held him frozen. Martha glanced at the price tag. The cake was $42. She looked at the money in the child's hand, then back at her earnest face. "Sweetheart, what's your name?" Martha asked. "Emma." "Emma, that's a beautiful name. Tell me about your mama." Emma's face lit up despite her obvious worry. "Her name is Sarah. She works 3 jobs so we can keep our apartment. She used to bake me cookies every Sunday, but now she's too tired. I heard her crying last week because she had to work on her birthday." Her voice dropped. "I just want her to have one happy thing." The words hit Thomas like a physical blow. He thought of his own daughter, Grace, who he hadn't seen in 4 years. The last thing she had said to him was that he had chosen his company over his family. He had been too proud to admit she was right. Martha's eyes glistened. "That cake is very special, honey. Let me see what I can do." "Wait," Thomas heard himself say. The word came out rougher than he intended. Both Martha and Emma turned to look at him. He stepped forward, his heart pounding in a way it hadn't in years. "I'd like to buy that cake. For Emma's mother." Emma's eyes went wide. "Really?" Thomas knelt down, his expensive suit touching the worn bakery floor. This close, he could see that Emma's dress, though clean, had been carefully mended in several places. Her shoes were slightly too small. "Really," he said. "But I have one condition." Emma's face fell slightly, suspicious in the way children learn to be when life has taught them that good things often have catches. "What condition?" she asked carefully. "That you let me add something to the cake. A message. Would that be okay?" Emma considered this seriously. "What message?" Thomas thought for a moment. "How about, to Sarah, happy birthday from Emma and a friend." Emma tilted her head. "Are you my friend?" The question struck something deep in Thomas's chest. "I'd like to be, if that's all right with you." She studied his face with the unnerving directness of children. Whatever she saw there must have satisfied her because she nodded slowly. Okay. But I still want to use my $5. I saved it. Thomas understood pride. He recognized it in this small girl's straight back and lifted chin. How about this? You give Martha your $5 toward the cake, and I'll cover the rest. That way, it's from both of us. Emma thought about this, then carefully placed her money on the counter. Deal. Martha wiped her eyes, not bothering to hide her tears. I'll box this up and write that message. Emma, would you like to pick out some birthday candles too? While Emma excitedly examined the candle selection, Martha leaned toward Thomas. That's the kindest thing I've seen in 40 years of running this place. Thomas pulled out his wallet and handed her his credit card along with several additional bills. Whatever's left, set it aside in an account for Emma. If she comes in again, let her buy whatever she wants, but don't tell her about it. Just tell her the prices are lower than she remembers. Martha took the money with shaking hands. Who are you? Nobody special, Thomas said quietly. Just someone who forgot what matters. 20 minutes later, Emma held a large white box with the cake safely inside. Thomas had ordered a car service to take her and the cake home safely. As they waited by the door, Emma looked up at him. Why did you help me? Thomas crouched down again. Because when I was about your age, my mother worked very hard too. I wanted to do something nice for her birthday, but I couldn't afford it. A stranger helped me, and I never forgot that kindness. I've been waiting a long time to pass it forward. This was true, though Thomas had forgotten it until this very moment. The memory had been buried under years of boardrooms and quarterly reports. Will I see you again? Emma asked. Maybe, Thomas said. If you keep coming to the bakery, I might stop by sometime. The car arrived, and the driver helped Emma inside with the precious cake. Through the rain-streaked window, she waved goodbye, her small hand pressed against the glass. Thomas stood in the rain long after the car disappeared, feeling something he hadn't felt in years. His phone buzzed with messages about a meeting he was missing, a deal that needed his attention. For the first time in a decade, he ignored them. Instead, he pulled out his phone and found his daughter's number. His finger hovered over the call button for a long moment. Then he pressed it. Grace, he said when she answered, his voice uncertain. It's Dad. I know I don't deserve your time, but I was hoping we could talk. Really talk. I've realized I've been lost for a very long time, and I'd like to find my way back, if you'll let me. There was a long silence on the other end. Then, quietly, I've been waiting for this call for 4 years, Dad. Inside the bakery, Martha watched through the window as Thomas Whitmore, one of the most powerful men in the city, stood in the rain with tears streaming down his face, finally beginning the journey home. Sometimes it takes a little girl with $5 and a heart full of love to remind us what wealth really means. And sometimes, the person who gives the gift receives something far more valuable in return. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more stories about the simple acts of kindness that change lives. Leave a comment and tell us about a time when someone's generosity made a difference in your life. Your story might inspire someone else today.